Hi, this is Architect Linu. We are about to meet architect Pacharapan Ratnakoran and architect Varat Limbibul from Thailand. They are the chief architects of PAVA Architects from Bangkok. Today they are here with us regarding the Living Monsoon Design Talk 3. We shall ask them a few questions regarding the tropical climatic zones and the context.
I hope both of you had a great flight. Thanks a lot for coming for our Living Monsoon Talk Series 3. Given your architectural backgrounds in US, Europe, and Thailand, what distinct comparisons come to your mind with respect to their architecture or urbanism context?
Would you start?
To start first.
Okay. In my opinion, because like we grew up in Thailand and we comfortable like to live there for sure. And like when we go abroad, like in the Europe countries or in the US, first thing that we face is like a totally change of the geography, the weather that we like didn't get used to, right? And like we exposed so many things there. The important thing that like the difference between these three areas, I think like in Thailand we have our unique, rich natural environment, which we feel grateful actually now because like it's quite diverse in the way of the living thing, and also like with the rich natural resource like water, trees. This is very good for our living for sure, and for like building things, it it's valuable. We have to say that we just plant it, and we can use it like freely if we know how to use it, and uh, and in Thailand we have like quite lots of opportunity to build. Is that we heard from our friend abroad, like when they come from other countries, they always said like in Thailand that they have more opportunity to build, but sometimes it's quite arbitrarily to build there. It's like a more, I don't know, like a maybe to compare with the European country, that like the good thing is that they listen to people. That's a way that I was so impressed when I studied in Switzerland in Zurich. I heard a lot about like they have like a referendums, like to listen to what people think, people opinions there, and whatever they want to build, they they listen many times, so many times. They even have their own application, like to vote for everything. Yeah, so it's very nice. It's quite democratized in that way. Even it make it harder to build, but when they build, they listen thoroughly. I think it's like a different thing in a good way. It's like a different opportunity to build.
I think I'm gonna say more comparing between Thailand and the US because like I have like chance to
You have a
stay
background
in the US for a while, and I feel like the climate is so different. In Thailand, we can like stay outside. We feel comfortable. We feel the wind, feel the light. But in New York or Boston, in the winter season, you cannot stay outside. It's so cold. It's freezing. So in terms of the architecture, it's so different. In the US, like tend to be like create a box that have a heater machine that make you feel comfortable inside the building. But in Thailand, it's like on the way around. And I feel like in terms of the context of Bangkok, everything is based on the water. But comparing to the US, like it's all like grid system, and everything looks so uniform. And when I have a chance to work in the US, it's like doing skyscraper with a curtain wall, and everything looks the same. It's uniformity, and the thing that drive the design often to be like how can we maximize the area that can be sellable. And I feel like in practice in Bangkok or in Thailand, it's much more interesting that we can explore more that the thing that not only related to the number but related to the climate that make us feel comfortable.
So it's like you can venture out into the landscape also
Yeah.
and the structure. What aspects of tropical climatic zones generally attracts you as an architect?
as I mentioned, it's about like comfort. It's for me because we live here, like we live in like tropical area. For sure, we're comfortable, but in a way that like living, because it's not too hot. It's hot sometimes for sure in summer. It's really hot, but it's like livable, and it's not too cold. It's like I can wear like this, and I can like wear like this like every day, like the whole year. Yeah,
Year
all
round
year,
you can-
year
yeah.
round. Yeah, I can wear like this. So it's quite easy to live to wear, and like similar to the building. It's like we don't need like so much protection, but like we
Right.
have
Yeah,
to
exactly.
right. We have to like we just have to understand that the uncertainty of climate sometimes is like we have to build a kind of architecture that can blend in, accept the heavy rain sometimes, hot climate sometimes, but not like too drastic. I have to say that. So it's the way, the most like the thing that I like the most in to living in the tropical area is like the comfortable way to live in.
Maybe adding more in terms of the aesthetics.
Aesthetics, yeah.
And the thing that I appreciate the architecture in the tropical area is like the shade and shadow effects. And it's not that only 1 or 2 degree of shade and shadow, but it's like a different degree of that. Like we have big roof, and that big roof create like the atmosphere that produce the darkness effects in the middle, and it's like a little bit brighter to the outside, that very bright, and that is so hard to find in the Western country. You know what I mean, right?
Yes,
It's so cloudy and it's so cold, and the sky is like it's not bright as the tropical. So I think the lighting affect the atmosphere of it can produce a very beauty aesthetic in the tropical climate.
So it's basically aesthetics and comfort. And the climate is not extreme is the point. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think in our place also it's exactly the
Same.
same. It's not extreme, but yes, sometimes we do. It is hot in summers, but it's much better.
Yeah. We can see something similar in the architectural.
Architecture also, yes.
Yeah.
Tropical countries, yeah. What is the single most challenge you anticipate working in the climatic, in this climatic zone, the tropical climatic zone?
More challenging, right?
Yeah, the more challenging.
When it's drastic sometimes. Because we have to deal with uncertainty of the climate, right? Environmental like change, degradation. So like we have to like be prepared. Even if uncertainty, I think it's still like predictable somehow with our technology. So it's like we need to prepare about that. And we all know about like when we have like a heavy rain, it causes flooding sometimes, and when it's raining, it's not like this, right? It's like this.
It goes
It's crazy.
Or
yeah.
sometimes like
it's
this.
crazy. Yeah.
So overhangs are like,
Yeah,
of no
yeah.
use.
Yeah. So like for sure we can prepare about that. In the small scale that we mentioned about like a very big roof and the layers of the architecture that we can like live inside for sure, for the protected raining, for shading, so comfortable with the natural ventilation that we talk about the courtyards, right? Yeah, it's very nice way to build in the tropical climate for sure, but it's like in the bigger scale of the urbanism of the regional scale, for sure we need to prepare for like a bigger strategy, right? To absorb these like a huge amount of water, right? How to like manage them, because like normally we know like it's not raining like every month, right? Like we mentioned like 2/3 of the raining here is quite a lot, even like in our country. Yeah, is when it's raining, we need to know how to like preserve
the water.
Yeah, preserve the water, right? And then distribute it when we like drought or we don't have those
Like a
water.
harvesting system.
Harvesting, water management, I think this is
Yes.
very important.
I think I have to point to your question. I think the first point is the westernization, that I feel like sometimes Western culture or the Western design of the architecture influence us so much that is not fit to our context. Like many architects or many clients prefer the contemporary clean geometry box that is not relevant to the wind and light in the tropical climate. And many of them like prefer to have like a roof, the concrete roof that is not fit to the raining in the tropical zone. And that is very challenge that we have to convince them that is not about that appearance only, but we can think about the other way around, not the international style. And that's the first challenge. And I think the second challenge, very, very personal point of view, that sometimes Thai people very materialistic and they prefer some design that increase their social status or the symbol of appearance, like a branding or want to have the chandelier in interior design, and that is not related to the climate at all. The first conversation sometimes is not about like, oh, the quality of living, natural ventilation, natural light, that is so, that is so important. They want to do something fancy, like the skin of the facade, and that kind of thing is like very challenged as an architect today in Bangkok. Yeah. Another thing that I want to add on is the social media, like Facebook or Instagram, that influence people so much, and people like want to project the social status to social media, right? So we are afraid and we worry so much that architecture and design gonna become the tools for people to project their identities, and feel like that social media, like I have to say that it's very good technology and we should use it. But I'm afraid that if we're not aware about it, something is like gonna be like missing.
Yeah, it's like we cannot judge architectural quality by that only picture.
The picture, yeah.
By reels that run around Instagram.
Yeah.
I think probably that's a very relevant problem that all of us as architects face.
Yeah.
Clients come up with reels and want the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many times that happens from our friend or other designer, that the brief from the client like want to do something like photogenic, Instagrammable, and it's so dangerous as an architect. Dangerous, right?
Is there a building type that may hold relevance as we look forward to meeting this challenge?
For me, it's not like there is no like specific type that we think is relevant. Not only one for sure. I think it can be any kind of building type that we can accept this kind of resilience. I think we need to be resilient for sure to dealing with the uncertainty of the climate, the weather, everything that we know like we face like in tropical area, and not only one type of building. For example, if we have to build a house should be like for sure adaptable, right? We already know, for example, like in our location that we're living, we know that it's central plain area in Thailand. So for sure it's flooding. So it's like the way that we have to accept that. We have to build a kind of architecture that can accept this. Because water like is there. Like since like
Ages.
I don't know like how long, but it's like it's there. And we come later. So it's like we have to accept the context as it is. We need to blend in, because like it would not be a problem if we like understand the context clearly.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question as well. And in terms of the building type, it's very modernist way of seeing architecture, right? Doing house, school, hospital, airport. It's happened in Thailand as well. Like after World War II, that we want an architect to do like many building types. But I feel like today, referring to the challenging environment, I want to see the program that hybridize with each other. Like it's not school anymore, but many program in one place that help mitigate many problems that we are facing right now. It can be a park, and at the same time, it can be like a flood protection area. It can be like an educational center as well. So I want to see not specific terminology of the programs, but in terms of more about the action of the what architecture can do for the city, for the people, and maybe the name of the programs or building type come later. I feel like in that way. Yeah.
And nowadays we dealing with adaptive reuse project a lot,
Yeah.
and we found out that the use inside the building is quite changeable, like depending on the time. In time change, people need something new. The use of the program change. So it's like nowadays we need to build a kind of architecture that resilient enough to
Right.
open to embrace the new use all the time that can be changed over time for sure, right? Is that we can consider about the flexible space or all the system, structural system that can embrace change in the future. I think we can think more about that, like apart from the blend into the climate change.
What we learned from the practice in the past almost 10 years, maybe more than 10 years. I already forgot about it. But if you think about the building type, it can be like a flexible, open-ended building type that
More multidisciplinary. It should respond to the context, to the site, to the people,
yeah,
Embrace change.
and climate change.
it can be like school for the first 2 years, and then it's changing to be like other forms of programs like educational, like cultural space, recreations, and I think we want to explore in that terms.
That's quite interesting and challenging to understand how a structure can respond to other uses as well, right?
Yeah.
How to reuse it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we just researched, I think last month, that we have fewer in the countryside in the country, and we found out that the theater, the theater with a very rigid concrete structure is so hard to do adaptive reuse because the structure is so hard to remove, so it's all abandoned. People cannot like reuse that much, and I think that is very good observation about the building, that maybe thinking about like in terms of the more lightweight structure or more open-ended, more flexible space.
But on the contrary, to use that kind of structure, if it's like permanent enough, it can even be reused again. Yeah. So we can think a lot about that, right?
Yeah. That theater is so beautiful. Like they have like a concrete step, and that because of the concrete step, is prevent from adaptability to the other programs. That is so beauty in the past, but it's not relevant to the present time. That kind of thing.
Yeah, but another theater, right? That they use like a
Lightweight structure.
lightweight inside. They change into like a sport fields
Badminton court
later.
inside the theater.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Could you provide further details about your time, place, context, philosophy? We did come across that.
Our office name, our firm is PAVA Architects, right? It's not just come from our name, Pacharapan and Varat, but the PAVA in Thai means like it's the state of being. It's kind of represent our idea to explore and try to understand the specific context of each programs. What we interest is not only about the form, the outside of thing, but we try to like do research, everything that related to the projects. Maybe like give more example about that.
We try to understand everything that happened. So we talk a lot about time, place, and context. Because like before we propose anything, before we propose our design, we want to understand. So for example, like in our project in Chiang Mai, right, Gamai Estate, that we adapt the old tobacco drying estate to be like a educational, recreational, and more commercial program to sustain the estate itself and blend in with the new use, contemporary use, fit to like people nowadays living. It's like before we propose that thing, we explore the area. We do survey, we research, we we work with local artisans is like we understand that like the way that the big tree coexists with the old bonds is very fascinating, valuable. We cannot find this kind of combination in other place. So this is like it impresses us in the spirit of the place for sure. This is an example of the context, right? And like when this area changed through time, people don't how can I say this? It's like a tobacco leaf is not popular like in the past for sure. But like people need more recreational space and the space for the family that we talk. Yeah, for family to run around, to spend time together. That's more important nowadays. So for sure the program can change. The architecture for sure have to follow that thing, right? Yeah, so like when we design, so we have to think about time, place, and context all the time.
Yeah, time is very important. Like it's not just like using the site plan on the paper, right? You have to feel the time and the context, feel the rainy season, feel the hot season, and try to understand that and talk with each other in our team that is that gonna be this building type forever? Can it be changed in the future? So time element is so important. And another invisible layer that related to that aspect of the place in terms of the politics, economics, and cultural issue that is so invisible. Let's see in our lecture tonight.
Yeah, like invisible layers.
Invisible
that we
layers,
mentioned
yeah.
is like not only we can see, right, environmental aspect, but other thing like
The other influential aspects.
like economics, politics for sure it influence architecture. We all know about that. And it's like when we talk about like Instagrammable thing, it's like we understand that this
Understand
is a
that.
social like a
Layers.
change. Yeah, and we accept that and we use that as well. It's like enjoyable as well when we use it. But like we just have to raise this issue because not only that make us comfortable to live, right? It cannot like raise our well-being just to seeing the picture, but we have to think through those picture and concern about like architectural aspect, environmental aspect as well.
I feel like as an architect, we should have a privilege and opportunity to create a brief with the client as well. Sometimes like client is
Many cases we come later.
become later, but many cases that what happened in the practice in Thailand is like the one who create a brief is the client. It's like the come from the commercial aspect and that kind of thing that. But I feel like as an architect, if the brief is not good, the architecture is not good as a result. So we try to understand that, doing research, and try to propose to the client and help create a brief together. Maybe like they don't understand that invisible layers because like we study architecture so long, right? Practice so long, and we want to like exchange that idea with the client. And the impact is like much better.
Part of program Living Monsoon. What are your thoughts on it?
I personally think it's very good, and I feel like we are architects, are we living in the bubble of a designer, right? And like people outside the bubble do not understand us, honestly. Yeah, we are study like architecture for 4 or 5 years and have like practice a lot, study about Greek architecture, Roman architecture, and it's not so. They do not understand that, the aesthetic of the golden section. Okay, they know what you're talking, but they do not understand. And we want this kind of event that help us project the good intention of an architect to the outside, to the people, to the local authorities, because like we are living in the world of like for the sake of everybody, right? It's not just for our sake of architecture, right? It need the power, it need a consensus from all the people, like, and if they all see our lens as a designer, I feel like the contribution and the urbanism and all of that design is gonna be like much better.
It's a very great start.
Great start.
Yeah, this platform is like collect everything from your that you are like a local architect here that collect everything here, collect from the know-how like outside your country and like record it and to share with other. And it's very nice way to project this know-how and improve our life, our well-being like together. Not consider just like individual part, but like as a
Yeah.
whole region
Yeah,
together.
we need to speak up.
You're trying to be educated at the same time constructive also.
That's part of the design as well. Educate people is part of the design. The design is not about building only, but about communicate as well. So exchange that architect think like that, people thinking like that. If we adjust a little bit, come together from those points
we understand.
and we improve. We improve together, and that's much better.
Allow others to understand us.
That is also very necessary.
Yes. No more chandelier.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, thanks a lot. It was a very interesting session. Hope you also had a great time. Yes, thanks a lot for giving us a very informative insight about.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.